psychological problems since his first son died. He is haunted by visions of drowning bodies. A few weeks ago, after one of our usual sessions, I found this on the floor. It must have fallen out of his pocket. Everything I did for love.
Hey, welcome back to Gova Rated. Today we're going to be discussing Heavy Rain. Let's start off by talking about the graphics. All the main character models are literally just super high-res photographs of the voice actors. I think it's really cool that they used real people, but a lot of the animations just f***ed up.
Yeah, sometimes they'd be talking and the lips were just totally off, and I was just kind of staring at the mouth, like figuring, how is this coming out right now?
I'd like to have a quick look at some shoes for Sean. Can you watch Jason for a minute?
At the beginning of the game, when Ethan dives in front of the car,
he
looks like he's like levitating across. Like the game looks amazing in screenshots. Like when you see it, like pictures of it, you're like, wow, that looks like it could be real. But like we said with the animation, sometimes it's just hit or miss. And
I think the one scene that I think it probably gets blown past by a lot of people, or in terms of like the bigger, kind of calling cards of the game. But when you're going to do the butterfly trial, the camera pans out and you have Ethan like he's huddling as he walks through the rain. Like that shot, I thought looked so real. I thought that one looked like a movie.
I want to talk about how it made me feel, and this is the big hook of the game. You can say what you want about the graphics or the gameplay or anything like that, but what David Cage's ultimate goal always has been is to make the player feel. And damn, I think they succeeded 100%.
Hell yeah.
No question.
Like there's parts in this game where you have to make choices that you don't want to make. Like the part where Ethan needs to.
Oh God.
Like
such a great moment. Such a great moment. That's when the game turns that corner of like, all right, we've been making you do some crazy stuff, but now here's where really the choices get nuts.
The game really had me like questioning my actions. I had a hard time like choosing at points.
Yeah.
And like for a video game to do that is really impressive.
But I mean, for me, like playing through it, I was realizing how much I like the characters. Obviously, these choices, those final 3 trials of Ethan, you know what I'm talking about, the ones there that are the big choices. Those really hit with me as far as like, oh man, what choice am I going to make? Because if I was in this situation, what would I do here? How do I do this?
Exactly. I mean, you got a guy that at the beginning of the game, he has everything. In one moment, everything's taken away from him. He's lost his happiness. He has no passion for life anymore. So these horrible things that happen in the game, basically he's reminded of what he still has and what he really cares about, which is Sean. Ethan finds a new appreciation for life.
Yeah.
And just everything he did, that's what I think my dad would do for me.
So did apparently.
Oh, well, spoilers, guys.
What the Britt? Jesus!
Another part about the story that's not so great, I thought, or about storytelling, is the weird, like, voice acting at times.
Oh, I know. The Origami Killer?
We
gotta catch that Origami Killer.
Personally, I thought the worst voice acting by far was the children.
Oh,
Anytime a kid talked, like, what the hell, man? Why?
I mean, you figure that's asking a lot of kids though, because the whole thing was done over in France and Europe. So those kids are like have had how much training, and they're asked to do these American accents, but totally when they talk, it rings through that these are not American.
John's right. You can't just stand here all day. Might as well go and play.
I look at that stuff and I'm like, Heavy Rain was a big budget game, Couldn't they have at least just re-recorded that?
Wait,
it's pretty obvious how bad it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was interesting because we complained about this a lot on Podcast Beyond or in IGN articles or whatever. And one kid wrote in, he said, this is the same thing of when Clements plays a game, one of his JRPGs, and doesn't put the English track on. He knows it's not going to be nearly as good. Why don't this game's not from here? Why didn't you guys take that into consideration? Why didn't you play it in French and subtitle it? And I thought, that's silly, of course, but I thought it was a very interesting point. You know what I mean? Like, if this was, a JRPG, we'd be like, well, the English voice acting sucks, and that's how it is. But
then again, on a game like this, like with a JRPG, you have so many elements of it. But then you have, Heavy Rain, which the entire focus of the game is on the story, which includes, a vast majority of the voice acting.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is presentation, right? I mean, trying to make it look and feel like a movie, make it an experience you're involved with.
All right, I think it's time for our final verdict. Let's start off with Britt.
I'm really tempted to say buy it now, buy it live, but because the game is so drastically different than, what people I think are used to, I'm just going to say get it.
Jason!
I think everyone that tries it will connect with the game on one level or another, but whereas if they're going to like the gameplay, if they're into that, then great, but if they're not, if they're mostly into, like shooters and action adventure, like bam, 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 then not. So I'm going to say get it.
Cool. Greg?
Buy it now, buy it live.
Jason!
I understand what you're saying, Britt. And this game will put some people off. People, if they are looking for that Modern Warfare kind of experience or whatever. But the problem is that this is a game that everyone, I think, should play. Because it does something different and it works really well at what it does. You know what I mean? It makes you feel these emotions. It's got a cool control scheme. It's got this really great story when you flesh it out and do all these things. Yes, there's holes. Yeah, it doesn't look great all the time. But it's an experience I think gamers shouldn't miss. As we push this genre of video games forward, I'd like to think we get more experiences like this. I'm personally not a fan of sequelitis, you know what I mean? Oh, well, Modern Warfare hits, let's have a Modern Warfare game every year, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things, there's a market of people who buy that, and that's all they play. And I would love for them to get their hands on this and see what video games can do, you know what I mean? It can be something different. And maybe you don't like it, that's fine, but I want to make sure people understand what this platform's capable of, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that can make you feel real emotions on level with a book or a movie.
It's kind of tough, giving a final score for this because, I agree with both you guys, and I've always said about Heavy Rain, it's amazing to see how far the medium has come, and it's so cool, especially with Heavy Rain, to push the boundaries of what a game can make you feel. These games are doing things that no game has ever done before, So in that sense, you have to give it a huge recommendation, but at the same time, I see what Brittany's saying, and this Heavy Rain is not gonna be a must-own for everyone. It's a must-own for me, but when you're being a critic and trying to tell people whether they should pick it up or not, it's a little tricky, man. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it a really high get it.
Jason!
You two are crazy, and you're full of cop-outs!
Booyah!
Cop-outs, all of you! There are no perfect games. No game's good for everybody.
I think everyone needs to at least try it, but maybe everyone shouldn't go out and just buy it.
All right. Thank you guys for doing the show with me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Greg, do you want to plug ps3.ign.com right here?
Yeah, you just did it. There you go. You just did it. Do it again. ps3.ign.com.
I'm not going to animate me asking.
No, you should. Do it. This should all be animated right now. It'll be funny.
All right. Make sure to check out ps3.ign.com where you can see Greg Miller's work firsthand. And blogs.ign.com/Brit5091.
Yeah, did it. Good job.
Also, make sure to check out gova.com. That's g-ova.com. And you can see all of our episodes there or listen to our podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the show.
All right. Yay.
Yay.